Duke has landed a commitment from their first recruit in the class of 2019. Joey Baker, a five-star wing from Florida, announced on Sunday night that he has committed to play his college ball for the Blue Devils. A 6'7" wing who attends Trinity Christian in Fayetteville, North Carolina, Baker was offered a scholarship by the Blue Devils in September and has since made multiple unofficial visits to the university. Bloomington, Indiana. AP, Archie Miller speaks Indiana's language. He expects the Hoosiers to work hard, play hard and, above all else, focus on defense. It's a simple philosophy that resonates with basketball fans in Bloomington. They appreciate good, old-fashioned basketball and a strong-willed coach who likes to stay on message. "I think I know what we do works," the new Indiana coach said. "I believe in what we do." The Hoosiers have spent almost 2 decades searching for someone who could replicate the sustained success of Bob Knight. And while some shining moments occurred along the way, they didn't last long. Mike Davis took the Hoosiers to a national championship game before the bottom fell out. Kelvin Sampson appeared to have Indiana on the verge of a breakthrough, until he was fired amid an NCAA scandal. Tom Crean inherited a reeling program, put it back in the national conversation and wound up winning 2 Big Ten titles before he was fired in March. Now, Indiana believes it finally has the right man. Instead of plucking someone from Knight's coaching tree, athletic director Fred Glass hired a 38-year-old emerging star whose blue-collar approach and blunt assessments sound a lot like, well, Knight. But Miller does more than talk, and it could pay big dividends on the court. The hard-nosed 5'11" Pittsburgh native who was North Carolina State's starting point guard before he started coaching has players listening attentively, too. He has a different kind of basketball IQ because he was a player, guard Devonte Green said. He understands what works and what doesn't. Miller is not afraid to make his thoughts clear. Those who stick to the plan will be rewarded. Those who deviate from it could find themselves on the bench. At Indiana, it's more than just idle chit-chat. Miller's strong voice is just what they've been looking for. I think it's a testament to what he put in place, but I think it's also a testament to the guys on the team, forward Juwan Morgan said of the Hoosiers' eagerness to work with Miller. "If we get the stops all the time, there will be no problem scoring. Here are some other things to watch this season. Patience, please. After missing the NCAA tournament last season and having 3 starters declare early for the NBA draft, there is a lot of work to do. Miller understands a complete turnaround will take time, so he's asking for patience. They're not going to be able to do things our way and win right now," Miller said. "The expectation level for us is to be ready every single day." Where's the scoring? Indiana lost 3 of its top 4 scorers from last season and has only 1 double-digit scorer returning. Senior guard Robert Johnson is ready to accept a bigger role after averaging 12.8 points last season, declaring for the draft and then withdrawing. "They told me they wanted to see if I could play point guard at a high level. They wanted to see how I handled being one of the primary scorers this season," Johnson said, describing the feedback from NBA scouts. "I think Archie's system will help me get in the open court and handle the ball and that kind of stuff." Miller also expects Josh Newkirk 9.0 points, Morgan 7.7 and Darren Davis 5.9 to score more. Different Davis, a 6'10" sophomore forward, doesn't look the same after slimming down during the off-season. After losing about 20 pounds, Davis insists he's quicker and every bit as strong. The hope is that the 249-pound Davis will play more minutes over longer stretches and avoid getting into foul trouble when he's weary. "I'm a way better player overall," said Davis, one of only 2 players on the roster taller than 6'9". "My conditioning is good. Overall, just ready for the season." Hartman's return forward Colin Hartman made headlines last year when he proposed to his girlfriend on senior night. Now, he'll get a rare opportunity for a second senior night speech. The oft-injured Hartman decided to come back for his 5th and final season after deciding he wasn't ready to walk away from the game. And Miller likes the fact that Hartman is healthy and can provide a veteran voice on a young team. "Physically, I think he's confident," Miller said. "He's in great shape, and just looking at his mobility and whatnot, I don't think he's tentative." Austin, Texas. AP's last season was an embarrassment for Texas, for Coach Shaka Smart, the players and the entire program. There are few other ways to describe a season in which the Longhorns finished last in the Big 12 for the first time in league history and won just 11 games after starting the season in the top 25. "I used to say on Selection Sunday, don't take this for granted," Smart said. "Last year, we obviously were far from a tournament team. It gives you a real sense of urgency. Coming off last year, we certainly don't want to dwell on it, but we want to learn from it. The terrible season didn't stop the Longhorns from getting some really good news a few weeks late when top recruit Mohamed Bamba signed with the Longhorns. Most expect the power forward to make only a short stay at Texas on his way to the NBA. He's already been named the Big 12 preseason Freshman of the Year. Mo is a unique player. He has the ability to impact a team in some very powerful ways, Smart said. Smart came to Texas 2 seasons ago as one of the hottest coaching names in college basketball and with the expectation of elevating a program back into a Big 12 title contender. His first season ended with a first-round exit in the NCAA tournament, the same sort of March fade that made the program lose patience with Rick Barnes. Then came the losing. There's been no suggestion from the school's administration that Smart's job is in jeopardy. But with Bamba on board and point guard recruit Matt Coleman feeding him the ball, Texas should be, and must be, much better. We can be a team that can play with anyone, Smart said. We've got a lot of maturing to do. Some things to watch for from Texas this season. Big man Bamba carries the expectation that he can dominate in college right away. Last season, Texas had forward Jared Allen, who was a first-round pick after his freshman season. Allen was good all year but seldom took over games like Bamba will be counted on to do. Point guard precision. A huge problem for Texas last season was the lack of a true point guard, and Smart never really coached one up. Coleman is a 4-star recruit who will have targets like Bamba and Andrew Jones to get the offense moving. Coleman's impact likely won't make many highlight reels, but it could be key in winning close games throughout the season. Transfers. Time forward Dylan Osetkowski sat out last season after transferring from Tulane and gives the Longhorns much-needed versatility and athleticism up front next to Bamba. He had 11 double-doubles as a sophomore at Tulane and led the Green Wave in rebounding that season. Dylan and Mo, those guys are as good as anybody on our team as offensive engines. It starts with those guys. I doubt he'll lead us in scoring, but he'll make a lot of plays, Smart said. Big shot. Davis. Texas lacked the outside shooting that could deliver the daggers in big moments or help rally from big deficits. Guard Eric Davis was the top outside threat 2 seasons ago and needs to find that role again. We missed a lot of open three-pointers last year. This is a make-or-miss game. The bottom line is we need to make more shots this year, Smart said. Team chemistry. It was a problem all last season as losses mounted and Smart suspended Tevin Mack, the team's top scorer and best defender at the time. Mack never returned and eventually transferred to Alabama. A happy team likely plays as a better team. Matt Painter spent August getting a sneak peek at his new team. No, Purdue hasn't changed much. The Boilermakers have 4 starters and 4 seniors returning and still have enough size and versatility to defend their Big Ten title, even without Caleb Swanigan. They also have perhaps the most valuable commodity in college basketball: veterans who know what it takes to succeed and the will to finish their mission. People always talk about experience, but I think what's more important than that is the experience of having success together, Painter said. I think those guys are going to have those qualities for us to be successful. Make no mistake, losing Swanigan hurts. Last season, the 6'9", 250-pound forward averaged 18.5 points, 12.5 rebounds and led the nation with 28 double-doubles. He was a first-team All-American and finished 3rd in the National Player of the Year voting. But without him, Purdue could have a better overall team than the one that got blown out by Kansas in the NCAA Tournament Regional Semifinals. This year, the goal is to go all the way to Final Four. And it all starts with 68 forward Vincent Edwards, who put his NBA dreams on hold to give it one more shot. The senior does a little bit of everything, as he demonstrated at the World University Games: 19.3 points, 6.9 rebounds and 2.1 assists. He's the only active player in the nation with over 1,000 points, 500 rebounds and 300 assists. The Boilermakers also bring back 3 starting guards: Dakota Mathias, P.J. Thompson and Carson Edwards. Mathias is a 3-point specialist and all-conference defensive player. Thompson, a senior like Mathias, has the 2 best single-season assist-to-turnover ratios in school history. And Carson Edwards, no relation to the forward, is expected to improve his scoring 10.3 points after being the only Big Ten freshman to record at least 45 threes and 35 steals in 201,617. Sometimes, he is so aggressive that it leads to tough shots, Painter said after Edwards went 11 of 16 from the field and scored 30 points in Saturday's open scrimmage. Today, he did a great job of playing within himself. That led to the good shots. The Boilermakers also have size. Isaac Haas, the 7'2" senior center, was second in scoring last season, 12.6 points despite playing 19.5 minutes. This year, he's expected to become a full-time starter. Will it all be enough to win another title or advance deeper in the postseason? It's going to be a challenge, Painter said. When you have those types of challenges, you would much rather have experienced players, especially talented ones like we have. Here are some other things to watch this season. Defense. When Painter overhauled the program following a second straight losing season in 201,314, he rebuilt on the core principles of rebounding and playing defense. Though his old-school approach seems somewhat antithetical to today's trendy small ball style, Painter is sticking to his plan. I think our ability to shoot is probably the number one thing that jumps out, he said. But we're going to have to be able to compete on both ends if we're going to be in a good position at the end of February. Going big. The Boilermakers might not have a dominant inside player like A.J. Hammonds or Swanigan this season, but they could still have one of the nation's biggest front lines. Along with Haas, Painter has 7'3" Matt Harms, a redshirt freshman from the Netherlands, and 6'10" Jackwell Taylor, a junior, who has been battling a chronic foot injury. Look for Harms to become a major factor off the bench. Going against Caleb Swanigan and Isaac last year in practice really helped him, Painter said. He has gotten stronger and better. Versatile guards. Purdue isn't just deep at guard. They're versatile, too. The three starters each made at least 47 threes last season and showed they were more than just shooters. Thompson and Edwards shared the team lead for steals, 36, while Matthias had a team-high 133 assists and averaged 3.9 rebounds. On schedule. Purdue should have a pretty good notion of where it stands in early December thanks to a rugged early schedule. The Boilermakers visit Marquette on November 14th and head to the Bahamas where they'll play Tennessee before potential matchups with Villanova and perhaps Arizona. When they return, they host Louisville on November 28th and visit Maryland on December 1st. Purdue opens the season November 10th against Sir Edwardsville. Georgia Tech sophomore guard Josh Okogie could miss time for the Yellow Jackets after leaving Saturday's exhibition game against Georgia State with an apparent compound fracture to one of the fingers on his left hand. One of the nation's most productive freshmen last season, the 6'4" Okogie left in the second half and left the court with a finger that was heavily wrapped, according to a report from Ken Sugiura of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. After the game, Georgia Tech head coach Josh Pastner said the injury was a compound fracture, saying a bone in one of his fingers pierced the skin. We'll just have to wait till the doctors to come back with a diagnosis, but he could be out for a while, Pastner said after the game. We just don't know yet. The loss of Okogie is a potentially big one for the Yellow Jackets as he was sensational at times during a surprise freshman season. Without his scoring punch in the lineup, Georgia Tech will look to a pair of seniors and big man Ben Lammers and guard Tadrick Jackson to increase their scoring after both averaged double figures last season. Georgia State pulled off the minor upset over Georgia Tech with a 6,558 exhibition win as guard. Marcus Simons scored a game-high 30 points to pace the Panthers. The exhibition, played for charity hurricane relief efforts as many teams have done this fall, was the first time the two programs had met since 2008. Okogie wasn't the only Yellow Jacket to suffer an injury in this one as guard Branson Alston suffered a sprained MCL. Georgia Tech opens its regular season with a tough test against UCLA on November 10th. Evanston, Ill. AP, finally free of that NCAA tournament albatross, Northwestern comes into the season with something else hovering over the team. That would be high expectations. It's something that we've never encountered and we're excited to see how well handle that attention, star guard Brian McIntosh said. The school that hosted the first Final Four finally got to experience an NCAA appearance last season. And with most of their top players back, the Wildcats are out to show that was no aberration. While challenging for the Big Ten championship might be a stretch, Northwestern comes into its fifth season under coach Chris Collins with an experienced roster and an appetite for more. What happened was great, Collins said. It was a great experience, a great group of guys that accomplished a lot. But now, it's a new journey. It's a new team. Guys have gotten better. The Wildcats have most of their key players back from a team that won 24 games and squeezed past Vanderbilt in their first NCAA appearance. A 6-point loss to eventual runner-up Gonzaga that featured a big comeback by Northwestern and a crushing technical on Collins after the officials missed a goaltend by the Zags ended that run. But the standards are higher than ever for Northwestern. The school rewarded Collins, extending his contract through the 2025 season. Some things to know as the Wildcats try to make it back-to-back NCAA appearances, starting with the season opener against Loyola MD on November 10. Temporary home Collins hopes the crowds that started to fill Welsh Ryan Arena late last season will make the trip to All-State Arena in Rosemont. The Wildcats will be playing home games about 15 miles from campus while their arena undergoes a major renovation. The school is replacing wooden bleachers with chair-back seats, updating audio and video systems, adding premium seating and widening concourses as part of a $110 million overhaul of the arena. Work is scheduled to be completed next fall. For now, the building is basically a shell with steel beams exposed and boosted open exterior walls. A $20 million facility for men's and women's basketball, volleyball and other programs that will be built inside an existing adjacent building is expected to open in late 2018 or 2019. Every time I drive past there or walk past it, it's kind of surreal to see what's going on, but exciting at the same time because what we have coming is going to be a program changer in terms of the resources, the facilities, said Collins, a Chicago area native. It's something that I know was a long time coming. We're really excited about the end result. Scorers returned. The Wildcats have their top 5 scorers back from last season, and they have a pair of preseason All-Big Ten guards in McIntosh and Scotty Lindsey. They were 0-2 in scoring for Northwestern last year, averaging 14.8 and 14.1 points, respectively. McIntosh also averaged 5.2 assists to tie for the Big Ten lead. Forward-thinking, the Wildcats are also well-stocked up front, led by forward Vic Law. The Wildcats' third leading scoring and second leading rebounder, he made the Big Ten's all-defensive team. Derek Pardon is also back after ranking second in the conference in field goal percentage .611, fourth in blocks 1.8 per game and seventh in rebounding 8.0 RPG. He's back. Northwestern could get a boost with forward Aaron Falson back from a season-ending knee injury. He played in just 3 games a year ago after a promising freshman season. Falson hit 63 three-pointers 2 years ago, the second most by a Northwestern freshman. It was definitely a different experience for me watching the guys out there, Falson said. But I think it helped me. It helped me mature. The game slowed down a little bit because I got to watch from the sidelines a little bit more. It was an interesting experience. On tap, the Wildcats will play 3 games in 6 days during a busy early season stretch when they visit Georgia Tech November 28, host Illinois December 1 and play at Purdue December 3. They also have non-conference games against Creighton at home November 15, Texas Tech or Boston College in Uncasville, Con. November 19 and at Oklahoma December 22.